your horses.
Hold your horses and stay steady. And drink responsibly.
No. Oh my God. Is that tequila? Oh. Oh, man.
Responsibly. Whipping up with my friend.
Hey,
it's Shoop.
And it's Chuck.
And we are back today with another cracking episode.
Let's get rolling.
We got another division on the slate today, the NFC North. Lots of intrigue there. But Chuck, I had this question on my mind. I've been meaning to ask you.
Yes.
Can I get some headlines?
Oh, we can most certainly get some headline because I'm starting off hot, and I'm putting on the New York Yankees on the hot seat right now because they're coming off of a little sweep here. And then the Astros, they came right out of the All-Star break, flat as hell. Astros just swept the floor with them in that doubleheader. And then, they win a couple of games like there, and then they go to the Mets, and then just get swept. So it has not been a good time, but they did get Benintendi last night, basically. And he plays today against his former team. So they have a 4-game series this weekend against the Kansas City Royals. Royals suck. I'm looking for a sweep here, but the Yankees really need to fucking start putting it into play, or else they're gonna get their fucking shit beat in for the last half of the season because I'm pretty sure the Blue Jays are absolutely right behind them. It's either the Blue Jays or the
They're still about 11
Rays.
games back though.
So 11 games, but you know what number I'm gonna start freaking out? If it gets to 6 games back, I'm gonna start freaking out. So hopefully the Yankees they start running it, but congratulations, Met fans.
Yes, sir. Very happy as a Mets fan, but topic is the Yankees, and I gotta say, Yankees fans are freaking out way too much. First of all, they just got Benintendi, and he's gonna be a big addition for them, batting over 300 on the year. They need another outfielder because I don't know what that Joey Gallo send was in the 8th inning.
If you say Joey Gallo in the New York area right now, someone will absolutely explode.
Yeah, but they can't play him anymore. So it's good they got another outfielder, even though for some reason Gallo's starting tonight. But that's another story. But they'll probably get another
good fielder, but he just can't hit for shit.
It's just going to come down to, I think the Yankees and the Astros are really the only two contenders in the AL. It's going to come down to that series. And the Astros have kind of owned the Yankees so far this season.
100%.
They just got to show up when it matters, pretty much.
And hopefully these injuries shape up, too.
Listen,
you got some headline for me?
I'll tell you what didn't look pretty. So we talked last week about Kyle's contract. We talked about the financial details in it, but there was another detail that came out this week that had everyone thinking, what the hell? And there's a clause in Kyle's contract that requires him, mandates him to watch 4 hours of film per week. Now, you gotta be thinking, what? If you're a quarterback, isn't that your job? Chuck, hear me out. Are they wrong for including that? Why did that go public? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna off the bat say they should include that if he's not watching film. Of course, create that clause, but making that public and saying and stating that that's in the contract, that has to be alarming to the whole Arizona fan base. And I know the back end of management, they know about it too, and the coaches, but Where do you take a step back and be how is this guy not watching film? You're a pro quarterback of a franchise that's looking for their first Super Bowl. You're a really good player and you have multiple skill sets to take that team to the Super Bowl. But you're not watching film. It's the little things that get it done and get you to the Super Bowl. So if this guy can't even watch film, I don't know what he can do on the field. And I don't know if guys can trust him.
Chuck, I'll put it this way. Let's say you and me were a couple, and I put a clause for you.
Fire couple.
Absolutely. But let's say I put a clause in for you that every time we went out in public, you couldn't just go strip naked in the middle of a restaurant.
Which I love to do all the time.
Obviously, you shouldn't be doing that. But why would there a contract need to be made? There obviously had to be a history of something happening there. And that must be the reason. The only other thing I can think of is that it's a common thing in clauses and other teams are just being quiet about it. But there was a report on Yahoo that these NFL executives said this came out of nowhere, and they don't know why this needed to be included. So, and to touch on it a little bit more, it specifically said in the clause that he cannot be doing other things while watching film, and to put in parentheses, going on the computer and playing video games. Sounds a little specific to me. No cap. No cap.
That is fucking.
I'll put the picture right here.
That is actually outrageous, because not only like are you just like not wasting your time, you're kind of just like telling the coaches like F you, like I don't need to watch the film, I don't need to prepare for this game, like it doesn't matter to me. It's kind of like I don't really give a shit. So I think that looks really bad. And a good point that you made. Do other teams have these clauses? Like I want to see. Can I see these contracts? I mean, they're probably not public, but I would love to see past contracts of players and find out more ridiculous clauses.
Peyton probably never. Tom Brady never.
No,
all these guys never.
Kyler needs to get checked.
Kyler needs to get checked. But unlike Kyler, we are not going to waste any time because we are almost through with our division breakdowns. We still got 3 more to go. We're breaking down our second division in the NFC, the NFC North. This one is very intriguing to me, and there's a bunch of headlines to go around. So,
100%.
Chuck, what is your headline to start off?
So, my headline is Aaron Rodgers is going to have a subpar season.
Interesting.
Now, it's kind of gross coming out of my mouth, but I think it's time we see like a 9-8 season from Rodgers. Maybe he does throw for 30 touchdowns, right? But he probably has to do a lot more. Maybe he goes 30-20. But maybe they don't even throw that much. Maybe he goes 20-10. So I'm thinking that they run the ball most of the time. They don't have no receivers.
Absolutely not.
Any of those guys on the depth chart, and the Bears, they barely have any receivers. But I think the Bears have just one good guy better than any of those guys on the Packers. Like, you can't really, in this league, yeah, you can run the ball every play, but you're going to run into defenses that stop the run. So you're going to have to go to plan 2. You're going to have to throw the football. Rodgers is a talented guy. He's got linemen in front of him. But I think Devontae Adams elevated his game so much where he had those one-on-one options on the outside on like 3rd and goals and whatever, and had a lot of easy touchdowns because of a guy like that. These touchdowns aren't going to come easy. He's going to have to move his feet a lot, and he's going to have to find guys, and guys are going to have to get open. But a lot of those guys, I don't think they can get open as well as Devontae Adams, which is an elite.
I don't think anyone can do it quite like Devontae does. My headline is going to be kind of going off what you're saying, and that is there a change in the guard coming in the NFC North? And it has a lot to do with the subtractions from the Packers. So
100%.
Losing Devontae Adams was big, losing Zadarius Smith, and just not having that receiving talent. But it's also, there's 2 teams I think that are right on the Packers' tail. You got the Vikings, who have one of the best rosters in the NFL, held back by mediocre quarterbacking.
Yeah.
And then you have the Lions, who are a young team, but very upstart, great coaching, and add a lot of talent via free agency and the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been coming easy for the Packers in recent years. Packers are still a division favorite, but it's not going to come as easy this year.
I totally agree.
So they gotta have their guard up, because the division play, it's not going to be. We're not going to hear as many we own yous. Maybe to the Bears still, but
Yeah.
we're not going to hear that as much.
There you go.
Chuck, let's break it out with the breakout player. Who you guys? Your breakout guy.
So my breakout guy for this coming up season for the NFC North is going to be a guy who's going to have a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be the leader of the team, and he's going to have to show it, and he's going to have a full season. None of this 10 games bullshit. Justin Fields. Justin Fields needs to become the breakout player. I'm not talking the breakout player, he finally does good. He's going to have to be the MVP of that team. So he's not my MVP of that division, but he's going to have to be the MVP of that team if they want to be even close to 9-8, I think. Because they don't really look good on defense, and that offense is basically just him, and they don't really have any wide receivers. So we'll see if he can move more with his legs, and then hopefully the offense clicks behind him with his playmaking, and then maybe he can just be an all-out beast and take over this division. But he's going to need to break out to keep that team alive.
I think the best way to put it is Fields isn't exactly primed for a breakout season, but if he does put together a spectacular season, then is nothing but a breakout for him. My breakout player is going to come on the defensive side of the ball. So with the Packers' lack of offensive weapons, they're going to rely heavily on their defense. And we saw Jair Alexander, the Packers' shutdown corner, get hurt a little bit last year.
He's
and
nasty.
who stepped up in his place? Eric Stokes. Eric Stokes was the Packers' 2021 first-round pick. And I think he's going to make a bit more of a name for himself
100%.
this year. Learning from Alexander himself and dealing with these NFC North receivers, he'll have to face Thielen. He'll have to face one of the Lions' talented receivers
Twice.
and getting that experience from Alexander will help him tremendously. And in his absence last year, Stokes shined pretty well. I remember that game against the Chiefs, that very low-scoring game. Stokes was all over the field. He was absolutely fantastic. I think we'll see more from Stokes. Honorable mention, I like Irv Smith, the tight end from the Vikings, as a breakout this year as well.
I like it for fantasy, definitely.
Yeah, just depends how well Kirk can throw the ball in.
Oh yeah, and all depends on Kirk.
Yeah.
And I mean, they even might run it more too with the Cook action. So, who is going to be your X factor for this division?
X Factor, so when I pick X Factors, I think of guys, that can make or break a team's success. The Lions have talent all over the field, and the one area that they really struggled in last year was their secondary, and that was because Jeff Okudah got hurt with an Achilles injury in week 1. Now, Okudah didn't play well his rookie year, but it seemed like he was having a good camp last year until that injury happened.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Okudah, the Lions need him to step up to be their number one corner this year. And with all that, obviously he was hurt, but with that time off to heal and to learn, I think Okudah is finally primed for that breakout season, that shutdown corner ability that we thought he had coming out of college. And there's nothing else, especially at corner. There's nothing else at corner. There's a bunch of young guys at corner. Okudah's the leader of that group.
I'm looking at the list right now. He has to step up and be the leader because there are absolutely nobody in that secondary. I mean, they picked up Mike Hughes from the Chiefs.
Tracy Walker. Walker's a solid safety.
Yes.
But in terms of coverage, we need to see something from Okudah. He's my breakout, or he's my X factor, because his performance in the secondary will help keep the Lions in games if he plays up to his
100%. And then you got Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge, so hopefully a lot of coverage sacks. Now, my X factor is going to be on the other side of the ball. So we're going to go to Green Bay, and as I touched on, they have no receivers, right? I mean, like Alan Lazard, like that's your guy. That's not gonna be your guy. So they're gonna go to the run game. Like I would imagine, David Bakhtiari is coming back. They're all pro left tackle, so they're gonna bring him back. They got a great tight end that can catch and block, Robert Tonyan. I'm expecting them to run the ball 25 times a game, 30 times a game with Aaron Jones. But my X factor is not Aaron Jones. It's the guy behind Aaron Jones. It's A.J. Dillon. Absolute fucking monster.
Yeah.
So this guy is a fucking beast. I don't know. Go check out his highlights, but they're gonna bottle up Aaron Jones. They're gonna run the ball a lot. He's gonna get tired, or maybe he's gonna run for 133 and get tired after 10 rushes. They bring A.J. Dillon in. You just gotta give him the ball 10 times, 100 yards. Maybe that's 200 yards of offense right there. You got a great line. So A.J. Dillon can carry that weight for the offense. If like Aaron Jones, like he gets tired, or maybe A.J. Dillon has fresher legs because he's coming into his second year.
Chuck, if I may interrupt, what I think is going to happen is I think Dillon is actually going to take on more of a bell cow role where Aaron Jones was in the past, and they're going to use Aaron Jones more as a pass catcher.
I agree. Third down back.
Now Jones will still get his carries. He'll still get sprinkled in there, but Jones will receive more receptions as he's really Rodgers' most trusted receiver right now. And they'll save Jones for the routes, and they'll use Dillon more for his legs, his ground and pound ability. I love Dillon as that next great Packers running back to take over that.
Do you think they put both of them on the field at the same time?
I think we'll see
wing back action.
I think we'll see a lot of that.
Hopefully, because they have no receivers.
Yeah, very unproven guys out there.
Shout out Jawan Winfrey though, Jersey guy, Englewood baby.
Englewood. All right, Chuck. MVP. This might be pretty obvious, so I'm just gonna start off. It's Aaron Rodgers. Year after year, controversy after controversy over his contract. He wants to get traded this year, but every year he delivers. Now, you could say about the lack of playoff success, but it's either his coaching has let him down, Mike McCarthy back in the day, or the playmakers around him are just letting him down. I mean, in last year's loss,
That was crazy.
I think the play calling was way too conservative too.
100%.
And yeah, the rest of the offense just didn't show up. But it's no fault to Rodgers. And the fact that
49ers had a great defense.
the fact that the Packers are still division favorite despite what's going on in their offense
It's kind of
tells you right there. Rodgers the MVP of this division. Who you got, Chuck?
Yeah, so my MVP is gonna be, and I don't think a lot of people will like this, but it's gonna be Jared Goff.
Oh no!
It's gonna be Jared Goff because he's gonna have all the weapons he needs to do good. He has the experience, he has the talent, he has the coaching, and now he just has to put it together. He has everything in front of him. The defense will take care of itself. He just needs to handle himself in the moment, the offense, the guys around him, be a leader. You got two great running backs. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's actually low-key nasty. They just got DJ Chark. Jamison Williams will come back at the end of the year. They got fast guys like Josh Reynolds and Quinton Cephas. So and they got one of the potentially one of the best tight ends in the league in TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
So I could see Goff just fucking tearing it up in this league. Just bam, bam, bam. Going to the Vikings' old-ass defense. Bomb, bomb, bomb. All the way over to the Bears who have nobody. Just throwing it over Eddie Jackson. And then go to the Packers and finally just, Lions beat the Packers at Lambeau, that field. Like, Jared Goff and Dan Campbell hugging each other in midfield. Like, I could just see that.
If we had to rank best bromance in the division, it's definitely those
It
two.
has to be. Just they bring the juice.
And going off that, Jared Goff's best seasons is when he had the most talent around him. And I know that says a little bit about the quarterback, but it's feeling kind of like those old Rams days when that first season when he had Todd Gurley and the receivers at his disposal, and he started to look like a functional NFL quarterback. We could see a little bit more of Goff this year. I think he has a bad perception by the public, but he could possibly turn around this year.
It's all in front of you, Goff.
So that was pretty bold in itself, but do you have a bold prediction?
Probably the boldest is probably won't happen, but Rodgers throws a fit middle of the season because they're losing, and then just Jordan Love gets a start.
Okay, I love it.
So
Love it.
I mean, like the people forget about that situation in itself. So that is bold, but if it happens, it happens. He could be a little bitch,
My bold prediction is the Chicago Bears are going to have their worst season in the Super Bowl era in their franchise history. I believe that their lowest wins of all time is 3 in a season, and 3-14 would beat that.
Wow, I did not know that. And they started in like 1920s.
Well, no, I'm saying Super Bowl era.
So Super Bowl.
Only Super Bowl.
Yeah, from the 70s up.
Only Super Bowl era. I'm not going to count the days where they didn't wear helmets and shit.
Where they had ties.
Okay, but anyway, it's what the Bears did this offseason was really confusing. So you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, which is prime time for teams to contend. You look at the Bengals, you look at the Chiefs. They're able to build these stacked rosters because they had great quarterbacks on cheap deals so they could fill the rest of their team with talent. That's what the Jaguars tried to do this offseason. That's what the Jets trying to do. It's a strategy nowadays in the NFL. The Bears went the complete opposite way. In Fields' second year, instead of peppering him with talent, they took away most of his talent. Especially on the defensive side, but he's got probably the worst offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
He's going to be running for his life back
I don't know
there.
any of these guys.
His wide receiver core is really bad. Mooney's good.
Shout out Darnell Mooney, fantasy wide receiver. That's your guy.
But they drafted one receiver. They should have drafted more, but they drafted Velus Jones in the 3rd round a 25-year-old receiver who's not that gifted athletically. I just, like, the Bears are just wasting away a valuable year unless they think they can go all in next year. But, with the Lions coming up and, the Vikings, they're young playmakers, where is the room for the Bears' growth? I mean, they're just going to be stuck in purgatory for a long time if this is how they want to run their franchise. Bears, potentially worst record in the NFL, but definitely worst season in their franchise history.
I see it. I can see it, definitely.
Division winner, Chuck.
It's a shootout.
It's going to be, we don't think the Bears are going to be in it, but we have 3 teams that might be. So I'm going to start off as close as I think the Vikings and Lions are. I think one of those 2 teams will make the playoffs as a wild card team, based on how the NFC, based on how weak the NFC is. I like the Lions in that regard. I trust them more. Well, not that I trust them more, but I don't trust the Vikings to clutch out close games. So I like the Lions as a sleeper team. But I have the Packers winning this division. As much as they lack talent on the offensive side of the ball, defense is really good. It's probably top 5 unit in the NFC.
100%.
And Rodgers has shown in the past that he can carry subpar supporting cast. I mean, for God's sakes, remember James Jones when he came back for that second time and all of a sudden he was like this elite fantasy receiver? Somebody on the Packers is going to break out. Maybe it's Amari Rodgers or something, but
Randall Cobb's still on the team.
Yeah, so somebody's going to step up. It's not a if, but a who.
Facts.
So it's really the Packers' division to lose. They have a pretty easy schedule too, so they're my pick. Oh, do you agree with me?
I like want to say Lions. Like I was talking up Jared Goff. Like I want to be like, yeah, Lions are gonna win. It's gonna be Lions. But you're right. Their defense is stacked. Packers do have a stacked D. Not a lot of holes. Their offense is questionable at the receiving core, but they do have a fantastic line and 2-headed monster at running back. So you're really just missing wide receivers. It's a passing league, yes, but they could just dominate with the run game and play action, and their defense can just close out games. So it's Packers, and then I want to go Lions because I love Dan, because we both love Dan Campbell. Like I want to see that team do well. Vikings, Bears.
Yes, I would agree with that order. I talked about the Lions previously in episodes, making bold prediction that they'd be a 10-game winner, that they'd make the playoffs, and I still stand behind that. But what I want to point out, even if they don't win the division, the Lions' Vegas total for over/under wins is 6.5. That is so criminal.
Yeah.
That I've already laid $200 on the Lions over. So I have a personal stake in this claim, and I also staked a little bit in the Eagles too, as per last episode. So
200 beans.
200 beans on the Lions over wins.
I think I'm gonna fucking hammer that. I might not do 200, but I think I might do 100.
And if we can go just so
that's because that is how I think that's free money. That's got to be free money, shoot.
I wouldn't say exactly free money, but but take a look at the schedule. We're going to run down some of the opponents that I think are winnable games. So, easy games on our schedule include home against Washington, home against Seattle, and then they could at Chicago, at the Giants,
at New England,
at the Giants, versus the Jaguars,
easy.
At the Jets, easy. At the Panthers,
easy.
And then of course they get the Bears, Packers, and Vikings. The Bears, they should sweep the Bears. So, just going off the 2 Bears games, the Jets, Giants, Panthers, Jaguars, Seahawks, there alone, that should be 7 wins. And then you have like this underdog mentality with this team where they could easily squeak out a few more, especially during those home games and those division games.
Week to week league, baby.
I like the Lions for 10 wins, so of course I'm going to hammer them for over 6.5.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think 2 teams come out of the division or 1 into the playoffs?
I think 2. I think the Lions will be a 6 or a 7. I don't know about 5. I think that one of the NFC West teams, which we'll talk about later, will grab a high wild card. I think the Lions grab the 6 or 7. The Packers grab either the 2 or the 3. Packers' record will be inflated because of their also easy schedule. But Yeah, so Packers and Lions. It wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings sneak in there, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Kirk Cousins. You like that?
You like that? On another note, his own GM said that we like Kirk Cousins, but he's not that Patrick Mahomes kind of guy. Like, if it wasn't for all the Kyler stuff going on this week, like that would have blown up even more. Like calling your own quarterback not that great.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the funny thing about that though is like I think Kirk would hear that and be like he would just spurn his chair. He wouldn't even take it personally. He'd just be like, I guess he's right. Like I don't know. He's probably dumbass about it.
What a journey for Kirk.
Yeah, but yeah, Bears 1-16.
Trash.
Bad.
That would suck. That would suck.
Yeah. Anyway,
The Bears.
Tune in next week. We will cover the NFC South.
Yes, the Bayou Boys.
And don't worry if you're wondering when are we gonna get to college football. That will be in the cards pretty soon too.